Tensions are rising in Taiwan as fear grows over a possible Chinese attack. The clouds of war are hovering over the island nation. WION correspondent Sin Xing Liu reports from Taipei and tells you how the residents of the island nation feel about the imminent invasion.
Amid the uncertainties, people living on the frontline islands of Taiwan are getting increasingly worried. The military exercises and the prospect of an invasion by China have them on the edge. Check out this ground report on the apprehension and concerns of the people on these islands.
The sound of war drums is not restricted to the walls of failing diplomacy anymore. It has gone beyond and is the loudest since the 1950s, while the entire island faces an uncertain future. China's threat affects one region more than the other. This is Taiwan. It looks like a block of islands sitting at the junction of the East and South China Sea. But it actually extends very close to mainland China. Enter Matsu Islands. This archipelago is home to about 13,500 Taiwanese people and is now at the forefront of a looming war. Matsu is just 9 kilometers away from China, and war strategists say that any plans of invasion will most likely start here.
No, I don't really feel a sense of safety. After all, this island of Dongyin is the front line of the battlefield. We don't have anywhere to go where we could feel safe. Because if China shoots at us with projectiles, a small island like ours could be taken down in a moment.
The tenuous times are like deja vu for the region. Elaborate tunnel networks and military fortifications from the Cold War era are a testimony of their past conflicts. While the spirit is mostly high and people stand united against China's aggression, some have decided to go down the practical road. China's ground military is 10 times that of Taiwan, and if the US and Japan don't step in, a war will translate into unimaginable damage for the Taiwanese people.
Us Matsu people believe and hope for peace between both sides. If that's really not possible, we lean more towards unification due to our geography. Being so close to the mainland, independence is impossible and not allowed. That's the situation I understand.
Personally, I feel the Communist Chinese military exercise is something our country needs to bear. Because of our unique geopolitical situation and our history, we are stuck between the two superpowers, the United States and China. We are a pawn in the whole Indo-Pacific strategic region.
Matsu Island is not the only one at the front line. This is Kinmen region, just 6 kilometers from the mainland, where the US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi didn't even set her foot. But a visit to Taipei was enough to bring the region to a standstill. Not very far away from the beaches, littered by rusted-out tanks, this 92-year-old veteran reads his newspaper. The pages were in the shadow of the enemy even before Nancy Pelosi's Spar 19 landed in the strait. But having witnessed China's deadliest bombardment more than 60 years ago, he smiles and calls the military drills a small fry.
This time, the Chinese military exercise didn't affect Kinmen at all. Not like back in 1949 or during the 8/23 bombardments when Chinese forces surrounded Kinmen. There is none of that this time.
Despite the bitter memories of conflict and current tensions, many Kinmen residents hold friendly views of the Chinese people. After all, it is a short stretch of sea. And like most borders that are born out of conflicts, people on either side resonate more with each other than one would expect.
I think a war is possible, but I hope people from both sides and also both governments can communicate more. After all, only through communication can peace be achieved. Having no communication will only lead to hatred for each other.
Kinmen and Matsu had once served as natural barriers to invasion, But over decades of investing heavily in its defense, China has managed to use the same two islands as potential pawns today. And the people of these two strategically located islands are wary of that. Today there is fear, there is resilience, but there is also a sense of reason that is overpowering the spirit of a spontaneous battle. They seem to agree with an unpopular opinion. War is a tricky affair. The only way to win is to not play it at all.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.